Hi YouTubers, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well because I'm feeling amazing, and we're back for another video. And before we start, as usual, thank you to everyone, and if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button down there, and if you have, don't forget to smash that like button because it really helps. The channel's growing quite well. But anyway, straight on to what we're talking about today. And this video I think you're going to find is going to be slightly different, as you'll probably tell by the title, is I'm reviewing some Snappy Target products. Now, before you all start screaming and shouting, Steve, what are you doing? You've sold to the dark side. You said you weren't going to do sponsorship, and you said you were going to do true and honest reviews. Well, I still am. I'm still going to do that. I've had quite a few companies come to me and say, Steve, we like your channel, we notice you're getting big, and as always, they want a piece of the pie. But the problem with those guys is sometimes, they want me to say nice things, otherwise they're not going to give me anything. So I've always stood my ground because I wanted to be true to the channel. But you know what? I thought, let's just try it. Let's try it out. And I had a company called Snappy Targets come to me. Simon from Snappy Targets, a small company. And I'll leave a couple of images up here. You've probably seen them before. Those are the guys with the wooden lug targets that you shoot off. Look quite cool. I've never played with them myself, but he came to me, Simon, and he said, we've got a couple of new products that we're launching out. Do you fancy reviewing them if I send you some? And I was sort of like, well, don't want money for this because of, I say as it is. I'll review them for you if you have no problems with me saying what I think of them. And, give him his due. Simon, he put his nuts on the table and said, yeah, not a problem, I'll do that. So he's not going to see this video until you see it. So, there's no editing, there's no money involved, nothing. Basically, he's asked me, he's sent me some of his products, he's also given me some to give away, which we'll do at the end of the video as a giveaway. And he said, there you go, don't review them. So, kudos to you guy. Really, really nice. And yeah, let's see how we go. We'll see what the feedback on the channel is on this. So a couple of products that he sent me through, and I thought, let's give it a go. So one is what he calls basically, and I'll get this right, it's his group mate shooting gauge. I'm just going to call it a shooting gauge. It's a bit of a mouthful, that is. It's a shooting gauge, and here we see it's a shooting gauge. It's a piece in acrylic. It has got a backing piece of paper on that you would take off normally. So here's one that I've taken it off already. So I'm going to leave this one on so that you can see it in the camera. Comes with a lanyard as well, that's detachable. So this is what I said I'm going to call it his shooting gauge. And then there's another one that they're bringing out, which is what they call their drop gauge or drop target. So what are these two products? What are they all about? These things are relatively cheap. I think these are retailing at about £6 or so, I think they are. Depends, obviously, you might have a bit of shipping to go on there. And these are about £3. £3. Oh, that was my computer. Should remember to switch that off. These are about £3 for 10, but then you can actually get refill targets, which pretty much their business cards. I can see where he's got these from. Nice, quick, simple idea, and you can get refills for them as well. So they're not super cheap, but they're not expensive at all. But anyway, let's go straight on to the shooting gauge. What is it? What's this all about? When I first looked at it, I thought, it's a ruler. It's sent me a ruler. And you know what? That's what it is. It's a ruler. There's got no bones about it. It is quite simply a ruler. But its main thing to do is to give you, and let's get it the right way around to start off with, there we go. And what it really is here to do is to measure accurately the distance, the grouping, in millimetres at the top here, or in inches. I think I got that the right way around, looking at reverse here, or in inches at the bottom. So we've all had the scenario where we've shot a target and then we get a penny piece or a 5p piece or a dime or whatever it is that whatever coin it is, whichever country it is, and you put it over to cover all the holes and go, yay, I got this done. But it's not precise, is it? It's not very, very clear as to what your grouping is. And if you're trying to get better and you're trying to shoot and tighten your groups, or you're trying to work out what your different pellets, which ones are the best, it's sometimes very difficult. So the idea behind these is these are precisely measured. So that you can then, when it's transparent, obviously you can lay that over the top of your target, and then you can put your center point in the center of your group, and then you can measure precisely the number of millimeters or inches of that particular group, and then you can jot it down. You do your next set of targets, and you can see which pellets or how well you're improving. Very, very simple idea. Now, yes, you can just go and get a ruler and you can measure it, but it's not doing it in a nice circle format for you. And come on, let's be honest, how many of us carry a ruler around with us at the end of the day? So this is quite simple. You just drop it into your gun bag. You can have it in one of your pockets on a lanyard. You do your shooting and then you just measure it. Great for competition shooting as well on there. At the top, we do have some standard ruler gauges in inches and centimetres as well on there. And also down in the middle here is a nice indicator for drop as well. So if you zeroed, for example, at 25 meters and you hit the center on your target, you can then move out to 40 millimeters. As we all know, with hold over and hold under, is that you will drop it with air rifles. Definitely with air rifles over a short distance, your pellets will drop down. So you can lay this over the top and see how much your pellets dropped, and then use your calculations to work out how many mil dots you should be lifting or raising. So quite a handy little thing here. It's all made on nice printed acrylic, fairly scratch resistance, comes with a protective coating on the back of it, and not a bad price, around about the £6 mark on there. I can see you get one of these. Yeah, it's going to last for ages. Fairly stiff, it might snap, but keep it in a pocket. It's not too bad. Fairly tough, these are. Apparently supposed to be scratch resistant as well. Then the next one is what we call a drop gauge, it may look a little bit confusing. So what's this all about? Well, quite simply, again, this is all about hold over and hold under. So if I'm zeroed at 25 meters, then I put this at 25 meters. So it's a piece of plastic. It's like a lollipop stick. It's glued on a piece of card. Here we are. With the target on there. I'm zeroed at 25 meters. I plug this into the ground at 25 meters. I shoot. I should hit the center of it. Nice and simple. If I then move this out to 40 meters and I shoot at the center and don't change my aim position, my pellet will drop. And this allows you to precisely measure in millimeters the drop of your pellet, and then you can adjust with mil dots by lifting up or down to make sure that then you hit the center. So for example, 25 meters I hit the center, 40 meters I put it out and I'm coming down low. I know that I've got to lift up by 2 mil dots to hit the center. That way then I can use this, let's say for example if I'm going shooting, I'm going ratting, what I would probably use this for is put it out, 3 or 4 of these out before the session starts, shoot, then I know precisely where my mil dots hold over and hold under are for when I'm actually going to start the session and shoot with the rats. So quite a nice simple idea, easy to deploy, just stick it into the ground, far away. There's little bits down the side here where I can write in my pellet weights, my caliber, my ranges, etc. As a reference, I can then take it off, keep hold of it, and I've got a nice little record for me. And it's also great for those guys that have got new rifles, new pellets, and they're trying to work out what it is that that they're trying to do with what their hold and mil dots are on that. Okay, so nice simple idea, and I think these are about £3.50 for 10, I think, but then you can get a whole load of refills that you then simply have to glue back onto here, and then you can keep using these. So 2 very, very simple ideas, not a lot to go wrong with them. A lot of people say, well, why don't you just print some targets out and then just do, well, you know what, you can if you want to do that, but you know what, that's a pain in the backside to do. Nice and easy. So what I'm going to do is it's been chucking down with rain. Summer is well and truly over in the UK. The garden's overgrown, which is my range. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these outside, and we'll come back later and see if we can get some footage of just using them, and then we'll do a final review, and we'll do the giveaway as well, because I've got 3 sets of these to give away. And you guys, as usual, enter a nice little competition that I'll set up in Gleam, as usual. We'll leave it running for a month, and you might be lucky, you might get these for free. Okay, see you in a bit. Right there guys, we're outside. Yes, nah, who am I trying to kid? This isn't Ted's channel. I don't live in sunny California. I wish I did. Love your channel, by the way, Ted. Anyway, so we're outside. We're going to use the drop gauges out at 25 meters, and then I think I'll stick them out at 35 meters just to see how they work. One thing I have noticed with these though, not easy to see at distance. Maybe it's just my eyes. We'll find out. See how we get on with them. And of course we'll do some grouping as well, and then we can use our grouping gauge to see how well we're done. To aid me in this as well, I have an MTC Viper somebody sent me. Review on this one coming up soon with the earpiece and the phone app on it. Should be interesting. So measured ourselves out with that. We know where we're going. We're going to use the trusty Cricket because I know it's accurate and it'll give me a better chance with the bipod fitted in. We've got the SD card in. We'll take some video of that. We'll put some cameras down range. We'll see how we get on, and we'll do some shooting. Okay, we're going to do this quite quick. I know this thing groups really well, so I'm going to do some fairly rapid shooting. Cameras down range, let's see how we go. So first off, let's go for a grouping. Okay, so that's 14 shots, really rapid fire. What we're going to do now is we're going to take a couple of shots up the drop gauge, so that we can then, hopefully we should be centered to that drop gauge, and from there then we can then move the drop gauge out, and then we can see the pellet drop and see how many mils we're dropping down. So nice and simple, hopefully. Right, now it's a bit difficult with this because of, as I said, it's actually quite difficult to see the target, the drop gauges out at certain thing. And with the ATNX sight on here, which I'm using so you can see what I'm doing, it's not a great resolution. So I'm sure it's slightly better with optical sights. But we'll give it a go and we'll see how we get on. Let's see if we can get a bit of extra focus on it. Not bad, not bad. We can certainly see the pellet hole in the ATNX sight. Yeah, so I've used the pellet hole as a reference because I can see the crosshairs. It's difficult to see with the X sight, but you know, I am pretty much hitting the centre at my zero distance as I expected, and as you can tell on the first set of grouping shots on there. So we'll just take a third one into that to see how it goes. So this is at my zero range. Yeah, so that's pretty good going. So as expected, I'm hitting the centre of the drop there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and move the drop gauge, the little stick target. We're going to move that out at 35 metres, and then we'll see what difference it makes. Okay, so that was our first one. As you said, I had a few problems looking through the X sight, but you can see I'm on target. There's a bit of wind going on here, that's why they're all pushed off a little bit. But yeah, pretty much once I worked out where the centre of the target was, and I could see clearly then with comparison to lines, you can see that I was pretty much bang on. So as expected, zero distance, 25 metres, I expect that. So the rangefinder out, and we're at about 35 metres now, so we're going to see what that 10 metre difference makes in terms of drop. I'm not going to change the X sight, I'm going to leave it set to 25 metres, so the crosshairs will assume I'm shooting at 25 metres and we'll see the drop, see how well this works. Try another one, wind definitely got that. That was a better one. That'll do. Let's go and take a look and see how we've done. So, how did it go? Well, as we can see here, let's take the 2 cards up. So this is at 25 meters, and you can see that we're pretty much central. You know, if you take the average there, it is central, bang on. And we go down, and then we take a look at the 35 meters. You can see that on average, let me just have a look there. Yeah, we're down at roughly the 15 millimeters too low. Adding that extra 10 meters onto the range dropped my pellet by 15 mils. Now then, that I can then equate to, and working out my calculations, etc. I know that then if I put my mil dots and I lift myself up so that I'm set myself my mil dot hold over, so my center point is up on that target there, I can then shoot again with my mil dots, and I can bring my pellet to the center, so I know how many mil dots. So of course the principle works, and it's the way that we've done this sort of thing before many times with paper targets. You set yourself up, you shoot, you see where the pellet's landing, and then you lift yourself up, and then you keep doing it until you know your mil dots. This is just a little bit more accurate way of doing it. One thing I have noticed though, it's very easy sometimes if you're just off to shoot. The actual lollipop stick that holds it on. It's still usable, I can stick that on there, but yeah, and it is a little bit difficult at range to see this, and obviously I'm doing that for the ATNX site, which isn't great. I have tried it with an optical scope, you can see it, but personally I think that crosshairs there should be a much brighter colour. That will make things a lot easier so you can see it, because at the end of the day you don't need to see the gauges through the scope. What you actually need to see is what you're aiming at, and effectively you're shooting at a business card with very, very fine lines on it, so maybe a recommendation. So what we'll do is we'll go back upstairs where it's a little bit warmer, and we'll see how we do. We'll do a quick summary review, and we'll do the giveaway as well. See you in a bit. Bye. Right, we're back inside. So we've had a play around with the 2 products, and you know, first off, as we saw me taking some shots here, and then I used the grouping gauge. And to use it, it's dead easy. It's really easy. All you do is you take one, obviously you take the backing plate off, you take your target, and then literally is deciding whether or not you want to measure in millimeters or inches. You just lay it over it so that you get the center point, and then you can measure it. And what I'll do is I'll just leave a picture up here just to show you that, you know, it's dead easy. You just take the gauge, you lay it over the top, and then you put the center point in the center of your group, and then you can precisely measure in inches or millimeters. And I think I was getting close to 20 millimeter groups there. That was just me quick rapid firing just to play around with it. So really simple, really easy product to use. You know, here's the one with the backing on it, so you can see it a bit more clearer on there. Nice. Not a lot to go wrong. Like I said, it is a ruler at the end of the day, but the nice thing about it, it does have the centre markings in there so that you can precisely measure. Great for target shooters, great for competitions and things like that. Relatively cheap, simple, easy, scratch resistant. You know what? There's not a lot to go wrong with this. The only minor criticism I'd have on this is I wish it had rounded edges on it so that when you put it in your pocket it doesn't catch or anything like that. But you know what? Worth the money? Yeah. What would I give it out of 10? Well, basically I'd say I'd give this a 9 out of 10. Easy, maybe even a 10 out of 10. You know, give the rounded corners on there. It would make life a lot easier with the lanyard and a lot. Dead easy. Yeah, a bit of a no-brainer really. Like it. Like it. So, what about the other product then? Well, this is what the drop gauge on there, and I did have a few problems with this. Now, in the video I was using the ATNX site, which sort of made the problem worse, but I did try it with my normal scopes, etc. And the biggest problem that I got with this is that I found it difficult to make out the crosshairs of where I'm supposed to be aiming, because at the end of the day this is solely reliant on you being able to put your center crosshairs on the center and to measure then the drop of your pellet on there. So I've come up with a nice little product enhancement for you, Snappy. And there it is. I've just basically got a pen and made that crosshair a lot more visible. If that was in red, that would be great. Because of that distance, you don't need to know or see these fine markings. You don't need them. What you actually need is a center aim point. You then take your target back, and then you look at it, and then you do your calculations and you work out on that. So that is my only criticism. It's a minor criticism, and it is one that you can rectify yourself fairly easy. But if they came with a much clearer red cross or something on there, then it would make life a lot easier. Another one, slight criticism on here, is that the gradings here, if I just bring this into the camera so you can see, the gradings are all in millimeters on both sides, which isn't quite in keeping with the gauge that has millimeters and inches. So if one side was millimeters, the other side was inches, it would cater for everybody that wants to do mil in inches or mil dots in millimeters. Yeah, that's just another minor criticism on there. And one slight of one, yeah, now I'm being nitpicky here, is that you get the replacement cards and you get your cards that are glued to the lollipop, but you need to self-glue these on. You know, if these had like a little clip in there, little cutouts where you could just clip it in, so much easier, much easier. But these, very useful. I find them very, very useful. Yeah, for example, like I said at the beginning of the video, if you want to go and do a ratting session, you know, with these, it's quite simple. You stick them in the ground at the areas you know the rats are going to pop out, for example. You're 0 to 25 metres, you're going to hit the centre. You know you're going to. You put one out 35 metres, you put one closer, then basically you can then shoot. You know your mil dot holdover. You take the cards, you leave them lying down to the side of you. You can quick look, yeah, right, that's that one, that's 2 mil dots over, bang, and away you go. Very, very useful, especially when you can just stick them in the ground. And of course, you don't even need to have the lollipop stick. You can just pin them to your target board, like I did as well in the first shoot. So yes, I like these. These are quite good. Very, very useful. A lot of people are saying, well, why don't you just print them out? And I say, you know what? You got a printer. You can go and print stuff out like this. But we all know what it's like trying to get everything to scale to measurements. And you know, these are nice and simple. They're selling these £3.50 for 10 of these. You know what? Yeah, okay. But these refills, you get 100 of them. Basically in a business card box, 100 of them for about £6 or something like that. Well worth it. They'll last you for ages on there. So yeah, a couple of small points on there. Like I said, you know, the biggie is make that just a bit more brighter so that you can see that. But worth it? Yeah, I'd give them 7 or 8 out of 10 for that. If they could sort this part out of it on there, be really, really good. So yeah, like I said, this is the first manufacturer or retailer that has actually asked me to, that I've accepted to do a review, and I'm just going to do a straight out review. They're not even going to get to see this until you do. So I'm going to first off say, Snappy Targets, huge kudos for putting your nuts on the table and just letting me do this. You know, at the end of the day, I'm reviewing this product. You've got no input to this. I'm not being paid. This is the way it goes. Which is like an open invitation to all those other guys out there. All of you, BSAs, Gamos, all of you guys out there, have you got the balls to send something to me to let me give an honest overview of it so that your customers out there can come and have a look and get an honest, unbiased review of it? I don't take sponsorship, I don't want any of that, not at all. So anyway, I really, really hope you like, oh, nearly forgot, the giveaway. Right. As usual, we're going to do the giveaway format's going to be in Gleam, so check below in the description. There's a link there. Follow the link. The giveaway is going to be 3 prizes. They're all the same prize, but basically what you'll get is you'll get one of these with the lanyard. You'll get 2 of these, and you'll get about 20 refills for it as well. I'm just going to split the freebies that I've been given into 3 simple equal prizes. Follow the link down below. You can log on multiple ways. I don't get to see personal details. Watch videos, subscribe to the channel. That way you gain tickets that all go into the lottery, and we're going to leave it running for a month, and then at the end of the month I'll go to the Gleam site and it will just auto-generate me 3 winners, and you could be proud owners of these products. And what we'll do is I will post these out, and it's open international because these are fairly cheap to post, so I will cover that. So hopefully you'll enter the giveaway. Have a look at that. If you like this video, please make sure you subscribe, smash that like button because it does me really good. And a big thank you to all my patrons. I'm going to leave the link down below. If you think you like this channel and you want to help it a little bit more, then please have a look. Become a patron. You get your name down the bottom, and I'm going to try and find a better way of
rewarding some of my Patreons and that lot. But please think about it, consider it. I'll leave donation options down there below, because it all does help me. Just buy a couple of tins of pellets, maybe pay for some of the petrol, because I make nothing out of this channel. Anyway, hope you guys like that. Tell me what you think about this type of review. Should I do it more? Am I selling myself out? I hope I'm not. I think I've done it right. So catch you next time, and thanks a lot. Cheers, guys.